Dear students, I am R. Swarnalatha, Assistant Professor from the Department of Management Sciences at PSG College of Arts and Science, Coimbatore. Can we recap what are all the different levels of strategy that we have dealt earlier? Can you get it? Yes. The different levels of strategy are corporate level strategy, business level strategy, functional level strategy, and operational level strategy. In this session, let's look into corporate level strategy in detail. It involves the top level decision making and covers decisions dealing with the objectives of the firm, acquisition and allocation of resources, and coordination of strategies of various strategic business units for optimal performance. The nature of strategic decisions is value oriented, conceptual, and future oriented. The corporate strategy sets the long-term objectives of the firm and the broad constraints and policies within which a strategic business unit operates. The corporate level will help the strategic business unit define its scope of operations and also limit or enhance the strategic business unit's operations by the resources they assign to it. Below the functional level strategy, there may be operation level strategies, as each function may be divided into several sub-functions. For example, marketing strategy, which is a functional strategy, can be divided into promotion, sales, distribution, pricing strategy, customer service, and so on, with each sub-function strategy contributing to the financial strategy. Business firms are in dire need to accommodate all changes in dynamic business environment. Top-level management gives utmost priority to keep track with the changes and therefore formulates strategies needed to accommodate changes at the appropriate time. Suitable strategies framed by the top-level management for the overall company to tide over the changes in the external environment, matching the organizational resources and capabilities, are termed as corporate strategy. Corporate strategy is otherwise called as grand strategy. According to Thomson and Katz and Barrell, the 4 E's to address corporate strategy are extend strategy, which is adopting new business model or entering new business. Next is expand strategy, which is addition of products or services within an existing business. The third E corresponds to exit strategy, which is dropping a product or service line or exiting a business. And the fourth E connects to enhance strategy, which is adding functionality or improving a product or service that is currently offered. According to Wheeler and Hunger, corporate strategy are classified into 3. They are stability strategy, growth strategy, and retrenchment strategy. Now let's look into each one in detail. Coming to stability strategy, what is it? Stability strategy or stable growth strategy refers to that strategy meant to keep the organization at its existing level without putting down the performance. An organization would follow stability strategy if it is satisfied with the same product line, serving the same consumers, and maintaining the same market share. If the top level management does not want to take any risk or accept environmental change that might be associated with the expansion, stability strategy will be the option followed. Stability strategy is associated with small, privately owned business which have an established market with loyal customers satisfied with the firm's product or services. If the organization's competitive advantage lies in the present business and market, it pursues stability strategy. Stability strategy is fundamentally a defensive approach followed by the firm to remain in the same position without altering its business operation and competitive advantage. There are different variants of stability strategy. The four different ways are: number one, incremental growth strategy. So what is incremental growth strategy? Under this, the organizations set their objective achievement level, which was accompanied in the past. Next is profit strategy. It is called as harvesting strategy, where the firm is interested in generating cash when the firm is in the stage of declining sales in the market. The third one is sustainable growth strategy. This strategy is followed when the organization perceives that the external conditions are not favorable due to certain critical resource constraints like financial resources or raw materials or unfavorable government policy. The last is the stability as a pause strategy. It is followed by those organizations whose past history is full of growth. For example, many firms in public sector have adopted this strategy because of stringent restrictions in government policy and lack of budgetary support to expand their capacity. Indian business firms related to cement industry, iron and steel industry, coal industry, jute industry and so on have followed this strategy when it faced regulatory restrictions by the government. Next type of corporate strategy is growth strategy. So what is growth strategy? Growth strategy refers to that corporate strategy which supports the business firm to improve the business performance to next higher level. A growth strategy is the strategy which a business firm follows to when it fulfills the objective and takes it to next level upward in significant increment much higher than an exploration of its past achievement level. It refers to gradual expansion of the operations of the business firm and the addition of new frontiers in operation. This results in more sales, new customers, more revenue and increase in market share. Growth strategies can be very risky and involve forecasting and analysis of many factors which affect expansion, such as availability of resources and availability of markets. The possible growth strategies are internal growth strategies and external growth strategies. So what is internal growth strategy? Internal growth strategy is otherwise called organic growth strategy. They rely on companies' own resources by investing some of their profits. Internal growth is planned and slow. Some of the internal growth strategies are, we'll look into detail later. Before, we'll see what is external growth strategy. In an external growth strategy, the company draws on the resources of other companies to leverage its resources. External growth strategies are mergers, acquisition or takeover, joint venture and strategic alliances. Now, coming to internal growth strategies in detail, we will look into the first one, namely concentration growth strategy. Concentrated growth strategies are strategies that focus on improving current products and markets without changing any other factors. The firm channelizes its resources to achieve the profitable growth of the single product in a single market with a single technology. This strategy highlights the growth and expansion of the single product or few closely related products or services in the existing line of business. A strategy of concentration allows for a considerable range of action. The business can attempt capturing a large market share by increasing the present customers' rate of usage, by attracting competitors' customers, or by inducing the non-users in buying the products or services. For example, Microsoft is a classical example for using this strategy. It has concentrated on developing and marketing computer software and related products and has become one of the most successful companies. Amul also has used this strategy to manufacture and market processed dairy products like milk, milk powders, ice creams, curd, yogurt, processed cheese, flavored milk, etc., and is a forerunner in the dairy market. There are basically three approaches to pursuing a concentration strategy. The three sub-strategies are market penetration, market development, and product development. In market penetration, the organization tries to attract and gain market share in the existing product by improving its quality or lowering prices, and aims to expand its business to new customers in the existing market at a rate higher than the industry rate of growth. For example, Prestige opening many number of showrooms in cities. Coming to market development, here focus is taken to increase the sales through innovative marketing efforts and selling the existing product in new markets, either in new territories or segments. For example, Unilever Limited launched Sunsilk shampoo in US market, which is currently sold in Europe, Latin America and Asia. The third is the product development, where the business firm takes steps to achieve phenomenal growth through selling of innovative products and services in the existing markets of the business firm. For example, Coca-Cola launched Diet Coke sweetened with Splenda. Now, coming to the second internal growth strategy after concentration strategy is vertical or horizontal integration. Let's look into what is vertical integration. Vertical integration means that a company is producing its own inputs, which is backward integration, or delivering its own output, which is forward integration, rather than dealing with intermediaries. To pursue any backward integration strategy, a company can buy another firm that supplies its raw materials, or it can start its own unit to manufacture the needed inputs. This step would eliminate intermediary profit and secure the source of raw materials. Examples for backward integration are Tata Chemicals acquired British Salt Limited, an UK-based white salt producing company, to manufacture the needed inputs used in its product. An ice cream company that buys a dairy farm follows the strategy of backward integration. Amazon.com followed backward integration when it became not only a bookseller but also a book publisher. As a bookseller, Amazon.com buys books from various suppliers such as publishing companies. By becoming a publisher itself, it has integrated into its business the role of supplier and can sell books that its own publishing company publishes. Examples for forward integration. Most of the oil companies like Bharat Petroleum, Hindustan Petroleum, Reliance Petroleum have their own oil exploration, refining and distribution outlets for selling fuels. Arvind Mills Limited, which is involved in manufacturing textiles, has initiated its own retail showrooms with the brand name Mega Mart, Arrows, Flying Machine, etc. Trends and Og Private Limited, an initiative of Kevin Care Group of Company, manufacturers of beauty products like shampoos, hair oils, facial creams, talcum powders, hair dyes and deodorants, has started chain to take its product direct to customers. Trends and Og also runs a Trends Academy which trains the candidates who are recruited in the salon industry. Vertical integration strategy is a growth strategy as the business operations of the company are expanded by acquisition within the same industry. So what is the advantage of vertical integration? It has better cost control, efficient use of inputs, better management of business, and adds competitive advantage to the firm. On the other side, what is the disadvantage of vertical integration. It has difficulty in managing and integrating different functions and operations of the unit. There is financial burden in acquiring or starting the new unit, and there is reduced flexibility in operations. Hope you are now clear with what is vertical integration. Now let's move on to understand what is meant by horizontal integration. Horizontal integration means that the business firms acquire additional units of the competitor involved in the same business and thereby expand their business. This strategy helps the firm to increase the production level, customer base, market share and profits in the business. It reduces the competition as the firm has hold over the market share and tries to influence the price and quality of the product. For example, acquisition of Tetley Tea in UK by Tata Tea India. Acquisition of Land Rover and Jaguar automobile companies by Tata Motors in 2008. Acquisition of Bank of Rajasthan and Bank of Madura by ICICI Bank. Coming to the third internal growth strategy, it is diversification. So what is diversification? This strategy is concerned with developing new products for new markets through innovation process that are different from the existing business. The major reason for the firms to diversify is to reduce the risk associated with the single industry operation due to changes in business environment. There are two major types of diversification. They are related diversification or concentric diversification and unrelated diversification or conglomerate diversification. Now let's look into what is meant by related diversification. As I have told you earlier, related diversification is otherwise called concentric diversification. It means diversifying into a different industry but one which is in some form related to the existing industry of the business firm with similar technology, customers, market, resources, skills, etc. The ultimate objective of this strategy is to achieve synergy, which is achieved when the value of the whole firm becomes greater than the accumulated value of its individual business. Example, Samsung producing consumer products using cutting-edge technology like home appliances, notebooks, cameras, smartphones, and storage or memory devices and so on. All these products require some competences that are similar in terms of technology, markets, resources, and skills. Britannia Industries Limited, earlier manufacturing biscuits, has ventured into cakes, dairy products, rusk, and bread. Now, coming to unrelated diversification, we happen to see that it's otherwise called as conglomerate diversification. So what is this? Conglomerate diversification is that strategy which enables a business firm to venture into new industries with new products and new customers. For example, TVS Motors, involved in automobiles, has ventured into construction industry. Reliance Group of companies known for heavy industries has ventured into retail business. Bata Company, diversifying from footwear to leather accessories like belts, bags, etc. Tata Groups venture into Titan watch brand and Tanishq jewelry. Fine. Hope you have understood this. Now let's move on to the fourth internal growth strategy. It is internationalization. It is the type of growth expansion strategy which requires the organizations to market their products or services beyond their domestic or national market. What are the reasons for going international by the company? They are globalization, trade liberalization, transport infrastructure, demand for foreign products by domestic customers, economies of scale, favorable government policies, and regulations and cost advantage in business operations. The four types of international strategy are: number one is international strategy, which is carrying out business operations in a foreign market. The second one is multi-domestic strategy, which is practicing customization of products to the local demand conditions in different countries. The third strategy corresponds to transnational strategy, which is venturing into a business from a developed country to developing country and initiating the business suiting to local conditions of that country. The fourth internalization strategy is global strategy. It refers to offering standardized products and services across many countries all over the world in an undifferentiated manner at competitive prices. Now, let's move on to see the fifth internal growth strategy, namely digitalization. It is the use of digital media to do business operations and satisfy the needs of customer. It involves different domains like business, social sciences and technology. For example, all e-business ventures like Amazon.com, Flipkart, Snapdeal and so on, which has used this strategy. So now, having seen at what are internal growth strategy, let's move to external growth strategy. External growth strategy is otherwise called as cooperative strategy. They are classified into mergers, acquisitions, joint ventures and strategic alliances. Let's see what's merger. Merger refers to combining two or more firms. The two kinds of merger are merger by absorption and merger by consolidation. So what is merger by absorption? It is a combination of two or more firms into an existing company in which one acquires assets and liabilities of the other in exchange for stock or cash. All companies except one lose their identity in such a merger. Example, absorption of Tata Fertilizers Limited by Tata Chemicals Limited. Tata Chemicals Limited survived while Tata Fertilizers Limited ceased to exist. Tata Fertilizers Limited transferred all its shares to Tata Chemicals Limited. Now, what is merger through consolidation? It refers to the combination of two or more firms into a new company. In this form, all companies are legally dissolved and a new entity is created. For example, merger of Hindustan Computers Limited, Hindustan Instruments Limited, Indian Software Company Limited and Indian Reprographics Limited into an entirely new company called HCL Limited. The unique feature is that acquiring company takes over the ownership of other companies and combines their operations with its own operation. What are the types of merger? Number one is horizontal merger. It is the combination of firms engaged in the same business. Example, merger of Videocon Limited with Thomson Limited. The next one is vertical merger. It is a combination of business firms engaged in different activities like supply of raw materials, production of goods, marketing, etc. For example, merger of Tata Chemicals with British Salt Company UK based white salt producing company. The third type of merger is concentric merger. It is a combination of firms related to each other in terms of customer groups or customer functions or alternative strategies. Example, combination of firms producing televisions, washing machines and kitchen appliances. The last type of merger is conglomerate merger. It is nothing but the combination of firms which are unrelated to each other in terms of customer groups, customer functions and alternative technologies. For example, merger with Walt Disney Company and American Broadcasting Company. Now, what are the reasons for such mergers? Why do companies resort to merger? Companies take to merger for the following reasons: availability of advanced manufacturing facilities, high brand image, captive market share, loyal customers, advanced technology, efficient distribution network, and financial soundness. So having known what are the reasons for merger, what may be the objectives for a merger? The objectives of merger are to increase the value of the firm, to stabilize the firm's earning and sales, to reduce competition, to diversify the product line, to enjoy tax benefits, to acquire efficient resources quickly, and to promote synergy by increasing profitability and efficiency. Now, coming to the advantages of mergers, what's it? When you resort merger strategy, the firms enjoy economies of scale, utilizes funds in efficient allocation of resources. It can diversify the activities and increase profits and efficiency. Sick units can be revived through mergers. They can ensure easy market penetration and improve customer loyalty. They can enable easy access to sources of raw materials, finance and human resources. Merger can help to acquire skilled labor force, and more so, entrepreneurs find it easy to buy an existing firm with established customers and markets rather than setting up a new firm. Having studied all the advantages of a merger, what are the disadvantages? The one disadvantage that is found in merger is it causes conflicts and psychological problems of the top management of merger firms. Yet other disadvantages, the executives of the acquired firm may get a low status in the new firm. Further, that leads to concentration of economic power, monopolistic competition, higher prices, restricted supply, and black marketing. So having seen what are all the advantages and disadvantages, now let's look into what are the guidelines for effective mergers. Mergers must be effectively planned. Valuation of the firm's stock should be considered in a fair manner. Legal clauses must be carefully analyzed. Detailed plan and program should be designed. Authority and responsibility should be clearly designated. Human considerations must be given equal consideration as that of financial resources. Activities of merger should be controlled through feedback and management of information system. The success of any merger lies in careful performance of three activities. The three steps involved in merger are planning, searching for the firm, screening for the right choice, and carrying out the financial evaluation. The second external growth strategy after mergers are acquisitions or takeovers. What do you mean by it? Acquisition or takeover is an attempt of one firm to acquire ownership or control over another firm. Takeovers can be hostile, which is against the wishes of the acquired firm, or friendly, which can be through mutual consent of buyer and seller. It is the successful strategy after economic liberalization. Few examples are Tata Steel India acquired Chorus Group UK for $12,000 million. Videocon India acquired Daewoo Electronics from Korea. Tata Motors acquired Jaguar and Land Rover automobiles in 2007. L'Oreal Company's acquisition of Body Shop, and Microsoft's acquisition of Skype. Now, what are the advantages of takeovers? It provides easy growth opportunities, creates mobility of efficient resources from one activity to another activity, avoids gestation periods and problems involved in new projects. It increases the market share. It increases the profitability of the target firm. It decreases the competition, enlarges the brand portfolio, and provides the chance for survival to the sick units. Let's take a look at what are the disadvantages of acquisitions and takeover. It results in monopoly and concentration of economic power. The interest of the minority shareholders are not protected. There is likelihood of job cuts. Cultural integration or conflict with new management is difficult. The third external growth strategy is the joint venture. It's a business agreement in which two or more firms agree to develop for a finite time a new business entity and new assets by contributing equity. They are partnerships in which two or more firms carry out a specific project or business activity. Joint ventures can be temporary, disbanding after the project is finished over a period of time. What are the features of joint venture? It has a scheduled lifetime. It has to be dissolved once purpose is fulfilled after its life cycle. Changes in business environment force the joint ventures to be redesigned regularly. It promotes competences among business firms and develops synergy between firms by accelerating the revenue and new product development. Now, the fourth external growth strategy is the strategic alliances. What is strategic alliances? When two or more firms enter into long-term cooperative agreement with their trading partners to accomplish certain specific objectives over a specific period, these relationships are known as strategic alliances. It promotes synergy and competitive advantage. Example, ICICI Bank and Vodafone India, one of the India's largest telecom service provider, announced a strategic alliance to launch a unique mobile money transfer and payment service. This offering will comprise a mobile money account with ICICI Bank and a mobile wallet. Now, the last type of external growth strategy is the retrenchment strategy. It is a strategy meant to scale down operations and reorganize the business firm or even close down the operations if necessary. This strategy is useful in times of tough competition, scarcity of resources, and declining economy. They are turnaround strategy. This strategy is followed by the firm when there is sustained downtrend in the business performance, which can be caused by external factors and managerial incapability. This is focused on controlling the present declining trend in performance while improving the long-run efficiency of operations through cost reduction, revenue increase, and reduction of products and services. Coming to the next is divestment. It is the process of selling off the units to restructure a company around a smaller but stronger portfolio of business when the units are performing badly. For example, HMT Limited at Bangalore sold their watch division and focused on machine tools. The next strategy is liquidation. What is liquidation? It refers to ending or terminating the business. The company exits its business by liquidating all its assets and ending the business in the existing form. It may be voluntary or forced option. Hence, the above discussed corporate strategy supports to develop competences and gain competitive advantage for the business firm. In this module, we have dealt in length about corporate strategy, its meaning, types of corporate strategy, namely internal and external corporate strategy, and other related issues with it. Hope you had a thorough understanding of it. Looking forward to meeting you in the next module. Thank you.